First of all, you want to stop adding the burden. You want to stop putting in the things that created the problem. And that means stop alcohol, stop fructose, and don't put more than you have to of these pesticides and glyphosate and the herbicides and the chemicals that they spray on your food. Then once you've done all that, now you have to give the body a fighting chance. You have to give the body a break. So just like you can force feed a goose, you can give him a bunch of corn and he gets a fatty liver, we have to stop force feeding carbohydrates. So low carb and intermittent fasting is the window, it's the opening that allows the liver to start burning some of the fat in the liver instead of just putting more stuff in there. And then when you've done all that, now you go to the more specific things. And this is support the phase 1 with B vitamins, with glutathione, with choline, and then you support phase 2 with sulfur and methyl groups for conjugation and things like milk thistle and wheat germ oil and so on. So I'm sure after this video people will ask, well, what about such and such? So there are hundreds or thousands of different things that are beneficial, and the idea here is not to give you every single one of those, it's to help you see the principles, so then you can go look for things that have sulfur, you can look for things that have choline. So the first category of foods are things like beef and fish and poultry and eggs, and these are things people typically think of, oh no, those are heavy foods, those are full of fat, those are full of congesting things. But no, they're full of the things your body has to have to support those phase 1, phase 2 processes. So they're full of sulfur, choline, vitamin E, and vitamin B. And again, I'm not claiming that this is a complete list of important nutrients. They're just examples of some of the foods that contain some of the most important things. Next, we have nuts and seeds, peanuts, legumes, and again, they contain a good amount of all these different support nutrients. We have organ meats and roe, which is basically fish eggs. And I put these a little further down on the list, not because they're not as good, they're probably even better, but they're not as readily available. People are typically, on average, not going to find or eat as much brain and kidney and liver and fish eggs as they would the other food. But these things are also excellent, excellent sources. Then we get into the foods that are high in sulfur. So garlic, onion, leeks, and scallions. They're called allium plants. And they contain a lot of sulfur, especially per calorie. So you could eat a fair amount of these. They don't have much of the others, but like we said, the sulfur groups, people who eat sulfur-rich foods can typically reverse a lot of disease. So it is a very important aspect to look for. Next, we have an important group of plants, the cruciferous, the broccoli, the cauliflower, cabbage, and also leafy greens like kale and lettuce, arugula, etc. These are pretty high in sulfur and choline. They're not as dense as the animal products, but you can eat a good amount of these and you're not going to load up on carbs. Plus, these also have a lot of fiber that will help keep your bowels moving, fiber and water. And they also have a lot of different phytofactors, a lot of different plant factors that don't fit into these categories that are very beneficial for liver in terms of cleansing. So just in general, the plants are cleansing, but the animal products are rebuilding. So that's how you want to think about that. Then we have some items that make it on every list for liver detox because they have other properties. They don't contain any of the things we're talking about, so they don't support phase 1 or phase 2, but there are other chemicals, other things in there. So these are things like coffee, tea, beets, and basically any low-carb plant, any non-starchy plant can help you detox and help cleanse the liver. And then I want to look at some supplements. And the first one is N-acetylcysteine. So this is a very inexpensive form of this amino acid. It's a sulfur-rich amino acid that supplies the body with glutathione building materials. And this one is so powerful that it is the first line of defense in the emergency room when someone comes in with acute liver failure. So very, very inexpensive. It's a great thing to take if you just want to make sure that you're getting enough, or if you feel like you want a little jump start on it. Next one is choline. You can also get it from a supplement. Okay, these foods, the rich animal foods, have lots of choline, but if you want a little extra, it's not a bad idea. They're relatively inexpensive. Wheat germ oil is a great source of natural vitamin E. It's not like the synthetic tocopherols that you buy. This is the real thing. It works at a whole different level than the supplements you buy. And for B vitamins, nutritional yeast. Again, not synthetic B vitamins, not isolated nutrients, but the whole food complex, the way that our body really needs it. Again, I'm not trying to be exhaustive. I'm not trying to cover every combination, but I want you to start thinking of what is it actually going on? What does the liver need? So it's not just the traditional cleansing plants, but it is more of the dense nutrients that supply things to support these liver pathways.